They funded my sister's dream trip and forgot my birthday. Now they're paying attention. If you've ever been the forgotten one, the quiet achiever nobody noticed, this story is for you. Subscribe to Tales by Gavanna for more shocking turnarounds, poetic justice, and endings that hit exactly where they should. Because sometimes the best revenge is simply becoming unforgettable. She's the only one who carries our name with pride. That's what my mother typed beneath my sister's airport selfie. Bright grin, rolling suitcase, and a caption about a surprise getaway to Lisbon, Portugal our parents had just sprung on her. Heart emojis clogged the comments. Mine didn't. I'm Naomi Ellison, a 31-year-old Black American woman, and that afternoon I sat in my small place on the east side of Columbus, Ohio, staring at a single slice of bakery cake I'd bought for myself. I work as an operations coordinator for a regional diagnostics lab. Steady, unglamorous, the kind of job that keeps the lights on. I don't post much. I don't make a scene. For most of my life, I've been the reliable one who makes sure things don't fall apart. I refresh my sister's post again, as if the caption might rewrite itself. It didn't. Betrayal, 24, beamed like she'd won a crown. My mother's comment sat pinned at the top, loud as a shout. It shouldn't have stunned me. It was just the latest episode in a show I knew by heart. Growing up, Betrayal got the bigger bedroom and the new outfits. I got the practical. When she struggled with school, they paid for premium lessons and cheered through every recital. When I begged to take a weekend photography course in high school, my father sighed about priorities. I shelved groceries after class for months to buy a used camera. The night my photos hung in a little student show, my parents were front row somewhere else, clapping for Betrayal's performance, flowers in hand. I called my mother anyway. Naomi, I'm at the gate with your sister. I'll call you back. It's my birthday, I said. A beat of terminal noise. Right, happy birthday, baby. We're boarding. Click. I set my phone down, opened my laptop, and logged into the joint account I'd shared with my parents since the year my father scared us all with a hospital stay. Back then, I just landed my first solid job, so I set an automatic transfer of $550 every month to give them breathing room. 6 years passed. I never stopped it. $550 times 72 months equals $39,600. I told myself it was the decent thing to do. They were my parents. They never mentioned it. Not once. I scrolled the statements. Groceries. Utilities. Car notes. Then the stomach drop line items. $5,200 at a travel agency. $1,850 to a boutique. $12,500 deposited into Betrayal's personal account with the memo gift. My money. For her flights, her shopping, her surprise. I leaned back, palms cold. Memories surfaced. The weekend trips I'd skipped. The months I ate noodles when my car needed work. The times I told coworkers another time. Meanwhile, my parents were crowning my sister on my dime. I opened a fresh tab, stared at my balance, and made a choice. Withdraw. Not all at once. I moved it quietly over several days, small transfers that wouldn't set off alarms. $39,600 were claimed, drip by drip, back into my own account. I told myself this wasn't theft. It was a return. I had earned it. I had trusted them. They had spent it on everything but an emergency. Guilt rolled in waves that first night. Then my mind replayed my mother's words. The only one who carries our name with pride. The guilt thinned into something steadier. Not anger exactly, more like resolve cooling into steel. Betrayal called from Portugal. I let it ring out. She tried again the next day, then the next. When I picked up, her voice sparkled. Nay, this city is unreal. Mom and Dad went all out. We did the museum row yesterday, dinner by the river tonight. Sounds nice, I said. Also, I know you helped them. Thank you. I guess I benefit from that, too. My throat worked around a laugh I didn't let loose. Don't worry about it, I said and hung up. The phone sat face down on the couch. Here's the truth about Betrayal. She isn't cruel. She's just been taught that sunshine follows her. My parents choreographed that dance. She never learned another. A memory flashed me at 14, counting crumpled bills I'd saved to buy that pawnshop camera. I'd come home ready to burst with the news. But 10-year-old Brielle had bombed a math test, and my parents were promising a tablet if she pulled those numbers up. I lifted my camera. "That's nice, Naomi," my mother said without looking away. "Finish your homework." I did. Then I cried in my room, not for applause, but for witness. I closed the laptop. I'd already taken the money back. The only thing left was to decide who I wanted to be next. 2 weeks later, my father called. "There's an issue with the account," he began. "Over 30,000 is missing. The bank says transfers. Do you know anything about that?" "I moved it," I said evenly. "You what?" "It was my contribution. I took my contribution back." "That was for emergencies," he said. "Like a Mediterranean vacation?" Silence. "Then, that's different. Your sister needed a break. She's been working so hard. And I haven't." The words came sharper than I intended. 6 years of deposits and not one thank you. I was the safety net. For you. For her. That ends today. I ended the call before my hands could shake. They still shook anyway, this time from adrenaline. From finally telling the truth out loud. That evening I poured a glass of wine and sat in the quiet. I waited for the shame to crash back in. It didn't. What arrived instead was a clear, simple thought. I will not be used again. The blowback arrived by dusk. My mother called first, voice sharp and breathless. "Naomi Ellison, how could you do this to us?" "That account was for emergencies. For rent notices and hospital bills," I said. "Not flights and shopping sprees. I put in $39,600 over 6 years. You spent it on Brielle." "We didn't spend it, we used it," she shot back, as if the verb might absolve the choice. "Your sister needed something special. Then you should have budgeted for special," I said, calm and flat. "I'm done being the line item that makes your plans possible." She sputtered, pivoted to disappointment, then to prayer, then to silence. I let the quiet end the call. I didn't sleep much that night. But the insomnia wasn't guilt, it was clarity. If I'd taken back my money, I also had to take back my direction. The next morning I researched programs I'd once told myself I couldn't afford. One kept pulling me in a revenue cycle and health data administration certificate, 7 months, hybrid nights and weekends, focused on hospital billing systems, payer rules, analytics, and compliance. Tuition, $8,400 upfront. Old me would have closed the tab. New me entered my card. "About time you picked you," said Kiana Brooks, my closest friend at the diagnostics lab, when I told her over lunch. Kiana wore her hair in soft coils and her patience like armor. "You kept everybody else's boat afloat. Build your own ship." 2 days later, my father called. "There's been a misunderstanding," he began, "the way people start sentences they want you to end for them. Over 30,000 moved out. Your mother and I had plans." "So did I said. "I planned a life that didn't require me to starve so Brielle could see a new skyline. That's not fair." "What's not fair," I said measured, "is teaching one daughter to ask and the other to atone." He exhaled, the old weary sound he used when he wanted me to be reasonable. "You were always steady, Naomi. You didn't need as much." "Steady is not inexhaustible," I said. "I'm setting boundaries. That's not cruelty. It's survival." I hung up, blocked nothing, and went for a walk until my breath matched my pace. Classes began the following week at a satellite campus across town. The instructor, Dr. Raina Hargrove, had 20 years of hospital experience and the let's get this right energy of a woman who had fixed 1,000 broken workflows. "Revenue cycle is where clarity meets compassion," she said on the first night. "We don't just push claims. We keep doors open for care." I sat beside Denise Owens, a single mom in her mid-40s who'd recently been laid off from a clinic front desk. She took notes like every page mattered. During break, she nudged my elbow. "You from Columbus proper?" "East Side," I said. "South Linden," she replied. "We're overdue for good news. Might as well start with us." Most evenings I went from my lab shift straight to class, then home to make flashcards. On weekends, I studied at Cinder and Sage, a cafe that let you linger if you tipped and kept your headphones on. The work was dense. Claim edits, modifier rules, denial management, payer contracts, but it felt like sorting a 1,000-piece puzzle I'd been waiting all my life to finish. Betrayal called from Lisbon on day 3 of my program. I watched her name bloom and fade on the screen, then roll into voicemail. She called again the next morning. On the 3rd try, I picked up. "Nay, you won't believe this view," she gushed. "Mom and Dad, wow. Also, thank you. I know you helped them, and well, I'm sure that's why they could." "I know," I said. "Are you mad at me?" I thought about the boutique charge, the wire with gift in the memo line, the lifelong choreography where I held the net while she walked the wire. "I'm not mad," I said truthfully. "I'm just done." She faltered. "Done with what?" "Being the person you only see when you need something." Later, at the cafe, Denise found me staring through a paragraph on coordination of benefits. "Family stuff," she asked. "History," I said. "Repeating itself less this year." "Good," she said. "Break the loop." 2 weeks into the course, an email hit my inbox from Dr. Hargrove. "Your quiz scores are excellent. Would you consider joining a small peer group I'm mentoring for advanced analytics and leadership?" It met Saturday mornings, early enough to test your grit, late enough to make coffee your friend. I said yes. By the end of month 1, I could read an explanation of benefits like a second language. By the end of month 2, I was running mock denial audits for practice and loving the challenge. At work, Kiana noticed I'd stopped apologizing for breathing. "Your shoulders are lower," she said one afternoon, handing me a sticky note with a doodled crown. "Wear it." That night, my parents' names popped up together on my phone, 3-way call energy. I let it ring. The voicemail was a duet of scolding and sorrow, disappointments wrapped like gifts I didn't want. I didn't return it. Instead, I opened a fresh document and wrote 3 sentences I would be able to stand on if the ground wobbled. "I am not an account. Boundaries are not betrayal. I won't trade my peace for anyone's convenience." I taped the page inside my closet where only my clothes could read it. Then I set 2 alarms, one for sleep, one for study, and honored both. When Brielle's trip photos finally stopped flooding my feed, I posted a single picture of my own, me in an oversized hoodie at my desk, a highlighter clenched between my teeth, a stack of claimed scenarios beside me. The caption read, 31 and constructing a different kind of future. No tags. No audience in mind. Just a quiet announcement to myself. The likes trickled in from the people who showed up for me consistently. Kiana, a cousin I'd always clicked with, 3 classmates from night lectures, Denise with a row of clapping hands. My parents didn't respond. For once, I didn't wait for them to. A week later, Dr. Hargrove kept me after class. "Ellison," she said, flipping through my latest project. "You see patterns most people miss. I have a colleague at Midstate University Medical Center. They're expanding their revenue operations team. If you keep this up, I'll put your name forward." I felt the world tilt, not dizzy, just new. "I'll be ready," I said. Outside, the air had that crisp Midwestern snap that wakes you up. I tucked my scarf closer, checked my phone, and saw 2 missed calls from my mother. I didn't call back. I went home, brewed tea, labeled a binder, next chapter, and slid the first printed syllabus inside. It fit. By month 3, my apartment had transformed into a war room of notebooks, color-coded tabs, and coffee mugs. Work during the day, class at night. No family calls. No drama. Just discipline. Then one Thursday evening, my phone rang as I was annotating a claims denial case study. Unknown number. I ignored it until the second buzz revealed the area code. Cleveland. Home. Against my better judgment, I answered. "Naomi," my father said, his voice cautious, like he was tiptoeing on broken glass. "What's wrong?" "We need to talk." "About?" "The account. Your mom's been losing sleep. We think you overreacted." I took a breath, counted to 3. "You used my money for a vacation. That's not fair. It's not untrue either." He sighed. "Your mother just wants to keep the peace." We thought you didn't need much. You've always been the strong one. That's the problem, Dad. You assumed my strength meant I didn't deserve care. He stayed silent, then said softly, "Family's complicated. So is self-respect." I ended the call before the old guilt could creep back in. That night, I didn't cry. I just stared at my reflection in the window, the outline of a woman finally learning that quiet doesn't mean weak. Saturday mornings with Dr. Hargrove's mentorship group became my sanctuary. There were 4 of us. Me, Denise, a young vet tech named Alicia, and an older gentleman, Mr. Green, who'd run a billing office before layoffs hit. We studied claim analytics, coding trends, and payment reconciliation models. But somewhere between spreadsheets and scenarios, we also learned something else: how to reclaim pieces of ourselves that the world had overlooked. During one break, Denise leaned over her cup of coffee. You ever notice how women like us, Black women who hold it all together, get called dependable until we stop volunteering for pain? I smiled wryly. Then we become difficult. Exactly, she said. Difficult is just freedom without apology. That sentence stuck to my ribs. A week later, I came home to a missed call from Betrayal. I hesitated, then pressed play. "Hey, Nay. Mom and Dad are upset, like really upset. They said you took everything from them. I didn't know they were using your money." I swear I didn't. I just wanted to say I'm sorry if I made things worse. Her voice cracked at the end, fragile in a way I hadn't heard before. I didn't call her back, not yet. I needed time to decide if her regret was real, or just guilt dressed in a softer tone. Instead, I went for a late walk around the block. The night air bit at my cheeks, and for the first time, I felt untethered in a good way. Every step whispered the same word: freedom. Midway through the semester, Dr. Hargrove pulled me aside after class. "I recommended you for an internship at Mid-State Medical Center," she said. "Their director is looking for someone who understands both the numbers and the nuance. You'd fit perfectly." My chest tightened. "Are you serious?" As a cardiac code, she smiled. "Apply tomorrow." I did. 2 interviews later, I landed a part-time internship, weekends only, flexible hours, hybrid remote option. For the first time, my resume looked like it belonged to the woman I'd been fighting to become. When I told Kiana, she nearly screamed loud enough to set off the lab's alarms. "Girl, that's major. They don't hand those out easy." "I know," I said. "It feels like a door finally opened." "Then walk through it," she said. "And don't look back." 2 weeks into my internship, an envelope appeared in my mailbox. No return address, but the handwriting was my mother's. Inside, a late birthday card, 3 months late, and a folded check for $600. The note read, "We're sorry things got tense. Let's move forward. Love, Mom and Dad." I stood there in my doorway, holding the check between my fingers until it trembled. $600. For 6 years of silence, for 6 years of giving. I tore the check in half and dropped it in the trash. Then I whispered, "I'm not for sale." 2 days later, Dr. Hargrove's contact from Midstate called. "Naomi, we'd like to extend you a full-time offer once you finish your certification. Starting salary, $78,000 with benefits and tuition reimbursement if you ever pursue a master's." I didn't even realize I was crying until I heard my own laugh through the tears. "Thank you," I said. "You have no idea what this means." "Actually," she replied, "I think I do." That evening, another message pinged my inbox, this time from my mother. Subject line, "Emergency." "Naomi, your father's hours were cut. We're behind on mortgage payments. We need some of that money back, just for now. Please call us. Love, Mom." I sat in the dark for a long time, screen light washing over me. The old Naomi would have called back within minutes. But the woman I'd become opened a new document and began to type. "Mom, I'm sorry for what you're going through, but I can't help financially. The money I gave was meant for stability, and it wasn't used that way. I'm building my own future now. Please respect that." I hit send. No apology attached. That night, I slept without a single nightmare. When I woke up, I brewed coffee, sat by the window, and smiled at the rising sun. I'd finally learned that peace isn't what you find when people approve of you. It's what you earn when you stop apologizing for existing. The storm broke 3 months later. It started with another email from my mother, its subject line all caps. We need TO talk. I almost deleted it unopened, but curiosity, or maybe closure, got the better of me. Naomi, your father lost his job. We're behind on bills and at risk of losing the house. Please, sweetheart, you've always been the responsible one. We're begging you to meet with us before things go too far. Mom. That last line burned. You've always been the responsible one. Translation. You'll fix what we broke. I stared at the message, then typed back a single sentence. If we meet, it will be on my terms and Betrayal will be there. Friday came cold and clear. I chose a small southern bistro in downtown Columbus, public enough to prevent theatrics, but private enough for truth. I arrived early, took the booth in the back, and rehearsed the words I'd written in my notebook. Short, steady, final. Betrayal walked in next, nervous but resolute. You sure about this? Yes, I said. It's time. Our parents arrived on the dot of 6. My mother wore exhaustion like perfume. My father's shoulders sagged. We sat. Nobody spoke for a moment. My father cleared his throat first. Naomi, thank you for meeting us. I folded my hands. Let's skip the prelude. What do you need? That's not fair, Mom began. What's not fair is being treated like an ATM with feelings optional. Dad rubbed his temples. We made mistakes. Define mistakes, I said. You used my savings to fund vacations and then called me selfish for wanting it back. Mom's eyes glossed. You've always been so independent, Naomi. We thought you didn't need us like Betrayal did. Need and deserve are not the same thing, I said quietly. For a moment, silence filled the booth, thick as smoke. Betrayal finally spoke. They're telling the truth about losing the house, Nay. But they also owe you honesty. I checked their account. It wasn't just bills. They've been covering credit card debt and... Betrayal. Mom snapped. No, Mom. You wanted honesty. Here it is. I watched my father's expression crumble. We were desperate, he said. We didn't know how to tell you. You could have started with thank you, I said. But it's too late for that. Mom's tone sharpened. You're going to let us lose everything? You already did, I replied. You lost my trust. Betrayal squeezed my hand under the table. I told them I'm not taking any more money until they make things right. They're angry at me, too. My mother blinked hard. You too, Betrayal? After all we've done for you. All you did was make me dependent, Betrayal whispered. Naomi's teaching me to stand up for myself. For a heartbeat, I thought Mom might lunge across the table. Instead, she stood abruptly. I can't do this, she muttered, grabbing her purse. Dad hesitated. Naomi, I hope you figure things out, I said. But I won't fund the lesson. They left in silence. Betrayal and I sat there for a while, both breathing like we'd just run a marathon. Well, she said finally, that went about how I expected. Yeah, I said, half smiling. But we survived it. When the server returned, I ordered 2 slices of sweet potato pie. Betrayal laughed through her tears. You always know how to end an argument. Sugar and closure, I said. Best combination there is. That night, I slept deeper than I had in years. 2 weeks later, I finished my certification top of my class. Dr. Hargrove surprised me with a small celebration after our final exam, cupcakes, certificates, and hugs that felt earned. You've got the skill and the heart, she told me. Use both. And I did. Midstate Medical Center made the job official. Full-time. Salary locked. Benefits secured. When I told Kiana, she cried louder than I did. Then, as if the universe wanted to put an exclamation mark on the moment, my father called. Naomi, he said softly, your mother's angry, but I'm proud of you. I mean it. I've started looking for work. We'll be okay. I hope so, I replied. But whether you are or not, it can't depend on me anymore. He was quiet for a long moment. I understand. And somehow, I believed him. A week before my start date, Denise hosted a little get-together at her apartment. Cheap wine, loud music, and too much laughter. To Naomi, she said, raising her glass, for proving that boundaries can be beautiful. Everyone clinked their cups. I felt tears sting my eyes, not sadness this time, but the kind that comes when you finally exhale after years of holding your breath. That night, I posted one photo, me, smiling with genuine joy, a caption that read, "Peace tastes better than approval." It got fewer likes than usual, but the ones that mattered all commented the same thing. Proud of you. 6 months after that dinner, everything in my world looked different. Lighter, clearer, quieter. The storm had passed, but the lessons it left behind had carved something solid inside me. At Midstate Medical Center, I thrived. Within half a year, I was promoted to Assistant Director of Revenue Operations, overseeing 3 teams. The woman who once begged to be noticed was now signing off on budgets, mentoring interns, and speaking on workflow efficiency panels. When my director, Caroline, called me into her office one morning, I assumed it was about a project update. "Naomi," she said, "you've become the anchor here. The hospital board approved a new director-level role, and I want you to take it." My heart pounded. "Director?" "Director," she confirmed. "You've earned it." The title meant more than the salary or the corner office. It was proof that I'd built something unshakable, on my own name, my own merit, my own boundaries. 3 weeks after my promotion, my dad called. "Naomi," he said softly, "I got a new job. Not like before, but honest work. Your mother's helping part-time at a community store." "I'm glad," I said. There was a pause. "We're managing, finally. And I wanted to say I'm proud of you. I don't deserve your forgiveness, but I needed you to hear that." It was the first time in my life he'd ever said those words. My throat tightened. "Thank you, Dad." We talked for 20 minutes. No manipulation, no money talk, just conversation. When we hung up, I cried, not out of pain but relief. A week later, an email arrived from my mother. "Naomi, I've been reflecting a lot. I know I failed you. I don't know how to fix it, but I see it now. I hope one day you can see me trying. Mom." I didn't rush to respond. When I finally did, I wrote, "Thank you for saying that. Healing takes time. Let's both keep working on it." And that was enough. Betrayal and I met every Sunday for brunch. She'd moved into her own apartment, enrolled at Central State University, and was finishing a business degree. She'd changed, still sunny, still dramatic, but softer now. "My therapist says I used to think love was something I could just take," she told me once. "You taught me it's something you give back." "I didn't teach you," I said, smiling. "You learned." For her graduation, I sat in the front row, cheering loudest when they called her name. After the ceremony, she hugged me tight. "You're the reason I made it here," she whispered. "No," I said. "You just finally started walking your own path." By my next birthday, I'd bought a small townhouse with white shutters and an overgrown magnolia tree in front. Kiana, Denise, and Betrayal threw me a housewarming party. There was laughter, wine, a mountain of food, and the kind of warmth money can't fake. Later that night, when the last guest left, I stood on my balcony with a cup of tea and looked out at the quiet street. The wind smelled like rain and promise. I thought about the woman who once sat alone at her kitchen table, staring at a single cupcake and wondering if she'd ever be enough. Now, I didn't wonder. Months later, while sorting through old drawers, I found the shredded birthday card my parents had sent, the one with the $600 check. I smiled faintly and tossed it in the trash. Some debts, I realized, don't need repayment, they just need release. That evening, I posted one last message on my social page. A year ago, I thought love meant sacrifice. Today, I know love also means choosing yourself. Boundaries aren't walls, they're doors that open to peace. Dozens of comments followed, but one stood out. "Proud of you." It was from Betrayal. I've learned that revenge doesn't always come dressed in anger. Sometimes it looks like success no one expected. Sometimes it sounds like silence when someone who hurt you tries to start another argument, and you just don't answer. And sometimes it's as simple as peace. Deep, steady earned. I didn't win by proving my worth. I won by realizing I'd had it all along. And that, after everything, is the most powerful revenge of all. When life finally taught Naomi that peace is louder than validation, she stopped begging for love she had already earned. Her story isn't about money, it's about value. About realizing that self-respect is the most expensive thing you'll ever lose if you don't protect it. If you've ever felt overlooked, used, or underappreciated, remember this. Walking away isn't cruelty, it's clarity. Choosing yourself isn't selfish, it's survival. Thanks for watching Revenge Tales by Gavanna, where justice doesn't always come with shouting. Sometimes it comes with silence and success. If this story moved you, like, comment, and subscribe to support our small Black-owned storytelling channel. Your engagement keeps these powerful, emotional stories alive. Tell us in the comments, have you ever had to take back your power the way Naomi did? Until next time, stay bold, stay grounded, and never apologize for protecting your peace.